DESIGNAL void. Dr. Eliza Chen hunched over her workstation aboard Horizon's Edge, humanity's furthest outpost in the Altair sector. The station's massive array of sensors and communication equipment made it the perfect listening post for deep space transmissions, and as the station's xenolinguist, Eliza spent her days filtering through the cosmic noise, searching for patterns that might indicate intelligent life. 3 years on the station had yielded nothing but stellar background radiation and the occasional pulsar rhythm. Until today. "Commander Reeves," she called, not taking her eyes off the oscillating pattern on her screen. "I think you need to see this." The station commander appeared behind her, his weathered face reflecting in her monitor. "What am I looking at, Doctor?" "A signal. Deliberate. Structured." Her fingers danced across the interface, isolating the transmission from the background noise. "It's repeating every 93 seconds, and it's definitely not natural." Reeves leaned closer. "Source." "The Veil Nebula," Eliza replied, pulling up a star chart. "Sector 7 Alpha. No charted systems, no known outposts. Nothing should be out there. And yet, something is." Reeves straightened, his military posture returning. "Can you decode it?" Eliza shook her head. "It's unlike anything in our databases. The structural complexity suggests a highly advanced civilization." She hesitated. "Commander, this signal isn't just being broadcast. It's directed specifically at us." "Are you certain?" "The transmission is narrow beam, aimed precisely at our coordinates. They know we're here." The commander's expression hardened. "Keep this quiet for now. I want a full analysis before we alert Earth Central." As Reeves walked away, Eliza turned back to the pulsing pattern. After years of searching for a needle in the cosmic haystack, finding one that was actively pointing back at her was unnerving. 3 sleepless days later, Eliza had her answer. "It's a warning," she announced to the assembled senior staff in the briefing room. The holographic projection of the signal floated above the table, now broken down into color-coded sequences. There are 3 distinct components: an introduction protocol, spatial coordinates, and this. She highlighted a rapidly pulsing section. "A countdown." "To what?" asked Chief Security Officer Liam Dawson, his hand instinctively resting on his sidearm. "I believe they're telling us they're coming here," Eliza replied. "And they're running from something." Commander Reeves nodded slowly. "Earth Central has authorized first contact protocols. If they're sending warnings ahead of their arrival, we need to know why." The visitors arrived exactly when the countdown indicated. Their ship emerged from what appeared to be a tear in space itself, a technology far beyond humanity's understanding. The vessel was organic in appearance, with sweeping curves and bioluminescent patterns pulsing across its surface. When the first delegation came aboard Horizon's Edge, Eliza found herself face to face with the Vespera, tall, elegant beings with 4 arms and iridescent exoskeletons. Their compound eyes reflected the station's lights in fractured patterns. "We thank you for receiving us," their leader spoke through a translation device. "I am Salavek, elder of the Vespera Hive." The translator couldn't fully capture the musical quality of their language, the way it seemed to vibrate through the air. "We welcome you to Horizon's Edge." Commander Reeves replied formally. "May I ask what brings you to our space, Elder Xalavek?" The alien's antennae quivered, a gesture Eliza interpreted as distress. "We come bearing grave news. Our homeworld and 17 colony systems have been destroyed. We are all that remain." In the observatory deck later that cycle, Xalavek showed them the recordings. The holographic display filled with images of beautiful cities built into massive crystal formations, vibrant with life and technology. Then came the darkness. Massive ships, hundreds of times larger than anything humans had built, descending like locusts. "They call themselves the Harvesters," Xalavek explained, compound eyes reflecting the holographic destruction. "They consume everything: resources, technology, life itself. They process it all into energy to fuel their endless expansion. The final images showed the Vespera homeworld cracking apart, energy tendrils extracting its very core. Eliza felt physically ill watching the genocide unfold. "We detected your station's transmissions," the Elder continued. "Your people broadcast openly into space, unaware of what listens in the void. The Harvesters will have heard you too." Commander Reeves stood rigid, military training barely containing his horror. "How much time do we have?" "Very little. We came to warn you because we detected their scout ships changing course toward your region of space." Dawson slammed his fist on the table. "We need to alert Earth immediately. Evacuate the station." "It is already too late for evacuation," Salavek interrupted. "Our long-range sensors detect their advanced fleet approaching. They will be here within 14 of your Earth days." Silence fell across the room. Horizon's Edge housed over 3,000 personnel, plus the remaining 200 Vespera refugees. The station's defensive capabilities were minimal, designed to deter pirates and handle small-scale threats, not face an armada that had wiped out an entire civilization. "Earth won't believe this," Eliza said quietly. "They'll want verification, they'll debate, they'll form committees. By the time they decide to act." The commander nodded grimly. "We'll be on our own." The response from Earth Central came 3 days later, exactly as Eliza had predicted. Without more concrete evidence, they wouldn't commit military resources based on the word of an unknown alien species. They ordered continued observation and diplomatic engagement, but nothing more. Help wouldn't be coming. Eliza found Salavek in the hydroponics bay, studying the Earth plants with scientific curiosity, despite their dire situation. "Your species creates beauty even in artificial environments," the Elder observed, 4-fingered hands gently touching a flowering tomato plant. "We try to bring pieces of home wherever we go," Eliza replied. "I'm sorry about Earth's response. Your leaders react as leaders often do, with caution when faced with the unknown." The alien's inner eyelids blinked slowly. "But the Harvesters are not cautious. They are hunger incarnate. Then we need to prepare with what we have." Eliza straightened her shoulders. "Tell me everything about how they attack. Their weaknesses, their patterns. If we're going to face them alone, we need every advantage." For the next week, humans and Vespera worked side by side, modifying the station's defenses with Vespera technology, creating early warning systems, and preparing evacuation protocols for non-essential personnel. The Vespera ship, though damaged from their long journey, still had functional weapon systems that were integrated into the station's defense grid. Commander Reeves stood before the assembled crew, his face grave. "I won't lie to you. What's coming is unlike anything humanity has faced before. Earth has chosen not to believe, but we who stand at the edge of human space know the truth. We may be outnumbered and outgunned, but we will not go quietly." A cheer rose from the assembled humans. Among them stood the Vespera, their antennae raised in their own gesture of solidarity. The alarm sounded during the night cycle. Eliza was jolted from sleep by the blaring siren and flashing red emergency lights. She rushed to the command center, still pulling on her uniform jacket. "Long-range sensors have detected multiple signatures emerging from superluminal travel," the tactical officer reported. "Configuration matches the Vespera's description of Harvester scout vessels." On the main view screen, 7 sleek, predatory ships approached, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it, creating the impression of moving voids against the starfield. "Time to intercept?" Commander Reeves asked, his voice steady. "At current speed, 3 hours, 17 minutes. Salavek stepped forward, compound eyes fixed on the display. "These are merely their advanced scouts. The main fleet will be close behind." Eliza felt a chill run down her spine. The scouts alone outnumbered their defensive capabilities. If these were just the harbingers. "All hands to battle stations," Reeves ordered. "Begin evacuation of all non-essential personnel to the emergency shelters in the station's core." As the command center erupted into controlled chaos, Eliza found herself wondering if anyone would remember them. This small outpost of humanity making its last stand at the edge of explored space, alongside the remnants of a dying alien civilization. The first harvester ship fired when it crossed into the station's defensive perimeter. The blast tore through one of the outer habitation rings, venting atmosphere and debris into space. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut, but Eliza knew dozens had died in that first strike. "Return fire," Reeves commanded, his knuckles white, as he gripped the command console. The station's modified defense systems came online, launching a volley of Vespera-enhanced energy pulses. 2 hit their mark, causing visible damage to one of the scout ships, but the others effortlessly evaded. "They're targeting our communication array," the tactical officer shouted. "They're trying to isolate us." Another blast rocked the station. The lights flickered, and for a moment, gravity faltered. Eliza grabbed onto a nearby console to steady herself. "Stalavek, you said your people faced them before." She called across the chaos of the command center. "How did any of you survive?" The elder's compound eyes reflected the emergency lights. "We didn't fight. We ran." "Not an option for us," Commander Reeves interjected grimly. "This station can't outrun anything." Eliza's mind raced. There had to be something they were missing, some advantage they hadn't yet leveraged. The harvesters had destroyed 17 advanced worlds of the Vespera, yet here was Horizon's Edge, a relatively primitive human outpost, expected to hold them off. Unless, what if it wasn't about technology at all? "Commander," she called out suddenly, "when was this station built?" Reeves gave her a puzzled look despite the battle raging around them. 40 years ago. Why? And what was it before it became a research station? A military listening post during the Centauri conflict, but that's ancient history. Maybe not. Eliza rushed to the central computer terminal. Every military installation from that era had contingency protocols built in. Dead switches, last resorts. Her fingers flew across the interface, digging through the station's archived systems, through layers of decommissioned military software buried beneath scientific databases and civilian operating systems. Another blast shook the station violently. Warning klaxons blared as the hull integrity in sections 4 through 7 began to fail. "Whatever you're looking for, Doctor, find it fast," Reeves shouted. "We're running out of time." And then she saw it, buried deep in the command protocols. Contingency Omega. The hidden Armada. Contingency Omega. Eliza whispered, staring at the classified protocol that had been hidden in the station's systems for decades. Her hands trembled over the controls as she scanned the details. "Dr. Chen, we have multiple hull breaches." The station's structural engineer shouted across the command center. "We can't take much more of this." Another blast rocked the station, throwing several crew members to the floor. Emergency lighting flickered, casting the command center in an eerie red glow. "Commander," Eliza called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. This station was built during the height of the Centauri conflict. They placed a quantum entanglement beacon in its core, undetectable, unhackable, and designed to activate only in case of imminent destruction. Commander Reeves steadied himself against his command chair. "And what exactly does this beacon do, Doctor?" "It calls for help," she replied, pulling up the classified files. "But not from Earth Central. This predates the unified command structure. It calls something called the Sentinel Armada." Chief Security Officer Dawson scoffed even as he helped a wounded technician to a medic. "The Sentinel Armada is a myth, a ghost story from the early expansion era. Then why is there a protocol to summon it?" Eliza countered, pointing to the screen. "The records indicate the Armada was created as humanity's fail-safe, a fleet that operates outside normal command structures, designed to respond only in the most extreme circumstances." Commander Reeves studied the information, his military experience recognizing the classification markers as genuine. Even if this is real, if Earth doesn't officially acknowledge its existence, That's exactly the point, Eliza interrupted. Plausible deniability. A force that can act without political constraints, without diplomatic consequences. The perfect last resort. Another violent shudder ran through the station. The tactical officer's voice was grim. 4 more harvester vessels have just emerged from superluminal travel. Sir, we have perhaps 20 minutes before structural integrity fails completely. Reeves looked at the activation sequence, then at the faces of his crew, human and Vespera alike, all waiting for his decision. He nodded once. Do it. Eliza's fingers flew across the interface, inputting her highest clearance codes. The system requested voice confirmation. Initiate contingency Omega. Commander Reeves stated clearly. Authorization Reeves. Thomas J. Commander, Horizon's Edge Station. Situation classification. Extinction level event. The station's computer processed for 5 long seconds before a synthesized voice responded. Contingency Omega activated. Quantum beacon online. Estimated response time. Unknown. Across the command center, faces fell. Unknown could mean minutes, hours, or never. Meanwhile, the harvester ships continued their methodical dismantling of the station's outer defenses. Zelavek approached Eliza, compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights. Your people hide their greatest weapons, as ours once did. But will they arrive in time? I don't know, Eliza admitted. This protocol dates back 40 years. The Armada might not even exist anymore. The next 15 minutes were the longest of Eliza's life. The station's shields failed section by section. They lost the hydroponics bay, then research labs 3 through 7. Emergency bulkheads held, but with each breach, more lives were lost, more of the station sacrificed to buy a few more minutes. Multiple new contacts on long-range sensors. The tactical officer suddenly called out, emerging from, wait, that can't be right. Report, Reeves demanded, limping to the tactical station with a hastily bandaged leg wound. Sir, contacts are emerging directly from within the Oort cloud. They were already here, hiding within the system itself. The main view screen shifted to show the new arrivals, and a collective gasp swept through the command center. Sleek, angular vessels with predatory lines. Clearly human-made, but unlike any military craft Eliza had ever seen. Their hulls were coated in a material that seemed to bend light around them, making their exact size and configuration difficult to determine. 23 ships, the tactical officer counted in awe. No, 27, 31. They keep appearing. The Sentinel Armada, Reeves breathed. It's real. A communication request pinged on the main console. Reeves nodded, and the view screen shifted to show a stern-faced woman in a naval uniform without insignia or identification. Her silver-streaked black hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her eyes held the weight of decades of command. Horizon's Edge. This is Admiral Kang of the Sentinel Armada, she stated without preamble. Contingency Omega received and acknowledge. Hold position and reinforce your core systems. We'll handle the hostiles. The transmission cut off before Reeves could respond. On the tactical display, the Armada ships accelerated toward the harvester vessels with impossible speed, their movement suggesting propulsion technology far beyond standard military drives. They're engaging, the tactical officer reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. The battle that followed defied everything Eliza thought she knew about human military capabilities. The Armada ships moved with perfect coordination, as if guided by a single mind rather than individual captains. Their weapons, brilliant lances of energy that shifted between blue and violet, carved through harvester shields that had shrugged off the station's best efforts. 3 harvester scouts exploded in rapid succession. The remaining vessels attempted to regroup, shifting formation to protect their larger ships. They're communicating, Zalavek observed, antennae quivering. The harvesters are calling for reinforcements. As if in confirmation of the aliens' words, space seemed to tear open as a massive harvester vessel emerged, easily 3 times the size of the largest scout ship. Its hull bristled with weapon emplacements, and its central section pulsed with an ominous green energy. Harvester command vessel. Xalavek hissed, four arms drawing tight against their torso in what Eliza recognized as a gesture of fear. That is what consumed our worlds. On the tactical display, the Armada ships regrouped, forming a protective screen between the Harvester command ship and Horizon's Edge. Admiral Kang's voice came through the comms again. Horizon's Edge, we're detecting unusual energy configurations from the hostile command vessel. Analysis suggests they're preparing to deploy a gravitational weapon capable of crushing your station. We need to neutralize it quickly. There was a pause. Your alien guests, the Vespera, do they have knowledge of Harvester systems? Commander Reeves looked to Xalavek, who stepped forward. We have studied their technology through bitter experience. Yes. Connect your Vespera liaison directly to my tactical officer, Kang ordered. We need targeting data on their critical systems. And we need it now. For the next 20 minutes, humans and Vespera worked together across multiple ships, sharing tactical information and coordinating attacks. The Armada vessels executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, striking the Harvester command ship from multiple vectors simultaneously. But the massive alien vessel proved resilient. Its weapons lashed out, catching two Armada ships with devastating precision. Both exploded in brilliant flashes, their crews lost in an instant. The central power core. Xalavek insisted over the tactical channel. It must be struck precisely when the convergence cycle reaches its peak. Otherwise, the redundant systems will compensate. And how do we identify this peak? Admiral Kang demanded. The bioluminescence on its ventral surface will shift from green to blue-white. You will have approximately 12 seconds to strike. Kang's response was immediate. All ships prepare to converge on the target coordinates. Horizon's Edge, we're sending you targeting calculations. When we create an opening, your modified Vespera weapons may be the key to penetrating their inner defenses. On the station's command deck, Reeves turned to his tactical officer. Divert all remaining power to the Vespera Enhanced Defense Array. One shot. Everything we've got. The Harvester vessel surged forward, its massive form eclipsing the stars behind it. The Armada ships swarmed around it like angry hornets, their weapons scoring its hull, but failing to penetrate its deepest defenses. Energy spike, called the tactical officer. The Harvester ship is charging its gravitational weapon. Eliza watched in horror as the massive alien vessel's central section began to glow with increasing intensity. If that weapon fired, Horizon's Edge would implode, crushing everyone aboard into a singularity no larger than a grain of sand. Then she saw it, the shift in coloration Xalavek had described, spreading across the Harvester ship's undersection like a wave. Now, Xalavek shouted, compound eyes fixed on the display. The Armada ships executed a perfectly synchronized attack run, all striking the same shields from different vectors. For 2 crucial seconds, a section of the Harvester's defenses flickered. Fire, Commander Reeves ordered. Horizon's Edge unleashed every ounce of remaining power through its modified weapons array. The beam that emerged was unlike anything human technology should have been capable of. A spiraling helix of energy that bored through the momentary gap in the Harvester's shields. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the massive alien vessel shuddered as secondary explosions rippled across its hull. Its weapons powered down, and its propulsion systems faltered. Direct hit on their main power core, the tactical officer exclaimed. Their containment fields are failing. All Armada vessels, clear the blast radius. Admiral Kang's calm voice commanded. Horizon's Edge, initiate emergency protocols. This is going to be close. The Harvester command ship's destruction was both beautiful and terrifying. Its core detonated in a cascade of energy that warped the space around it. The shockwave slammed into the station with devastating force, but the reinforced structure held. Barely. When the emergency systems stabilized and the view screens came back online, the Harvester fleet was gone. Only debris remained, scattered across space like a new asteroid field. The Sentinel Armada ships regrouped, their formation perfect despite the chaotic battle they had just survived. Admiral Kang's image appeared on the main view screen once more. Now that the immediate danger had passed, Eliza could see the subtle signs of age and strain on the woman's face. This was someone who had carried an enormous burden for decades. "Horizon's Edge. Status report," Kang requested. Commander Reeves straightened despite his injuries. Multiple hull breaches contained. Casualties approximately 18% of station personnel. "But we're still here, Admiral." He paused. "I think we're owed some explanations." Kang's expression remained neutral. The Sentinel Armada was created 43 years ago, during the height of the Centauri conflict. When that war ended, certain military leaders recognized that humanity's expansion into the galaxy would inevitably bring us into contact with threats beyond our capabilities. Rather than disband our most advanced fleet, it was decided to place it in reserve, hidden but vigilant, ready to respond when conventional forces could not. "Hidden from Earth Central itself," Eliza said, understanding dawning. "Operating outside the chain of command." "Precisely," Kang confirmed. "We've been monitoring frontier space from hidden bases for 4 decades, upgrading our technologies and watching for exactly this kind of threat. Your station's quantum beacon was one of a dozen placed throughout human space, fail-safes that could never be compromised or forgotten." "And now," Reeves asked, "what happens now that you've revealed yourselves?" Admiral Kang almost smiled. "Now the galaxy knows that humanity has teeth. The data we've gathered from this encounter will be invaluable. The harvesters have consumed countless civilizations, but today they learn that humans fight back." She glanced off-screen, then back to the camera. "We've detected additional harvester signatures changing course, moving away from human space. It seems our message was received." Hazelavex stepped into view of the transmission. "Admiral of the Hidden Fleet, my people owe you a debt that cannot be repaid. We thought ourselves alone and standing against the harvesters." "You aren't alone anymore," Kang replied. "And we have much to learn from each other." She turned her attention back to Commander Reeves. "Repair teams will dock with your station within the hour. Meanwhile, I suggest you prepare for visitors. Earth Central will be curious when they learn what happened here." After the transmission ended, Eliza found herself on the observation deck, watching as Armada ships patrolled the system's perimeter. Their sleek forms moved with purpose, humanity's hidden guardians finally revealed to the light. Commander Reeves joined her, arm in a sling, but otherwise surprisingly composed for someone who had just faced extinction and witnessed the impossible. "You know what this means," he said, nodding toward the Armada vessels. "Everything changes from here. Our understanding of our place in the galaxy, our military capabilities, our politics." Eliza nodded slowly. "For decades we've been broadcasting our existence to the stars, thinking ourselves alone, or perhaps hoping to find peaceful contact." She glanced toward where Xalavek stood with a group of Vespera survivors, their alien forms silhouetted against the starfield. "Now we know there are predators in the dark, and we know we're not defenseless against them." "One signal," Reeves mused. "One desperate warning from a dying civilization, and humanity's greatest secret is revealed." "Not just revealed," Eliza corrected, watching as a shuttle departed from the Armada flagship, headed toward the station. "Justified." In the days that followed, as Earth Central struggled to process the existence of both the Harvester threat and the Sentinel Armada, Eliza worked tirelessly with Zalavek and Admiral Kang, combining their knowledge and technologies. What had begun as a desperate last stand was transforming into something else, the foundation of an alliance that might stand against the darkness between stars. The Harvesters would return someday. Of that they were certain. But when they did, they would find not isolated civilizations fighting alone, but a united front. Human ingenuity combined with Vespera wisdom, backed by the most advanced fleet humanity had ever built. And it had all begun with a single signal from the void. a desperate call that had awakened humanity's sleeping guardians and changed the course of galactic history forever.